Welcome to Love Scenes and Dream Queens, where books are devoured, crushes are validated, and opinions are delightfully unfiltered. Join for the giggles, stay for the sass. On today's episode, we are finally talking about Onyx Storm. I am so freaking excited, you guys, and I hope you guys are too. I have Cyrena Handley in the studio with me today. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on today's episode. I'm so excited to be talking about Onyx Storm. Finally, I have been, when I finished reading the book, I was like texting everyone I knew, like, did you finish? And no one had finished yet. So I was kind of on my own. So thank you for agreeing to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Super excited to chat with somebody about it as well.
Finally. So, so many things about this freaking book. I don't even know where to begin. But before we get into our whole discussion about Onyx Storm, which is like a lot, let's talk about what you're currently reading. So you want to kick us off with what you are currently reading?
Yeah. So I'm currently reading Play Along. It's the last book in the Windy City series. I've binge read all of them within the past 2 weeks. And I'm obsessed.
And who's the author?
It's Liz Tomford.
That's right. Yep.
And they're all sports romance. It's so good. I am obsessed, and I laugh so hard in each book. And so those have been really fun. I also just started Keep It in the Family by John Mars, and I'm doing that one via audiobook. And it's like a thriller, murder mystery type. It's, very different from the Windy City series, but it is so good. I listen to it constantly. So good. I'm loving it.
Who's the author again? What's his name?
It's John Mars.
John Mars. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. But what's the first book? What's the name of the first book in the Play Along, right? That was the first one? That's the first one you said?
The first book is Mile High.
Yes, you know it. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And then there's 3 others. And I think she's actually writing the 5th one. It's coming out in May, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And this is a romance genre?
Yep. Yeah, it's sports romance. So this is my first introduction to sports romance, but it's been a good one.
Okay. So I'll have to add that to my TBR. So what am I currently reading? Oh, I'm not reading anything right now. So I'm in this moment, I'm not reading anything right now, but I just finished, I don't know if you guys have read, yesterday I finished, Reckless by Lauren Roberts.
Yes.
I was kind of coming off of Onyx Storm, and, I've been in a funk, in a fog, in a just don't know what I'm doing with my life kind of thing. And so I've kind of been all over the place with books since I finished reading it last week. But I have a friend, one of my other fellow bookstagrammers was like, try Powerless. And so I read it. But they're such easy read. They're short. They're you can read them so quickly. So I read Powerless, and then I read Reckless right after. So, and I know that 3rd book is coming out in, I think, April.
Yeah.
It was cute. There's not a lot of spice in it, which I was kind of and she told me there's no spice. I was like, how is it a romance with no spice? What?
Right.
But there's a lot of banter between them and between Kai and Peyton, and I don't know. It was just there's tension. They're just so cute, and I was just oh, they're so cute. So, but now I'm invested. Now I'm I want to know. Now I want to know what happens. So, I am eagerly awaiting the 3rd book. All right. So let's get into Onyx Storm. I feel like that's it's a big topic for a lot of people.
Yeah.
What did you think about it, Cyrena? Overall, did you love it? What would be your rating?
So it was a 4-star rating for me. I did love it. I lost sleep over it. I'm in a massive slump because of it.
Mhm.
But I will say, like, it is my favorite book in the series so far. The only reason
Oh,
it's not a 5-star rating is just because I wanted more. Like, I wanted more action. I felt like there was a lot of, like, leading up to things, and I wanted to just see more of the action that we're used to.
I agree with what you said about you wanted more.
Mhm.
I gave it 4 stars. Um, as I said, I was I was sitting next to my husband on the couch when I finished this book, and I read it in, like, 2 days. I mean, like all of us. I mean, I read it so quickly. Um, and when I was done, I remember just I literally said out loud, like, "What the hell was that?" Because I was like, good. I was on my Kindle. I went to turn the page, and it was like, that was it. It was the acknowledgments. I was like, "What?
Mhm.
What's the like, how I like that? What do you mean acknowledgments? I don't even know what I just read. I don't even know what did I just I don't know what that was. I was so confused." So, I agree with you, Serena. I felt like I wanted more.
Yeah.
I wanted more resolution. Um, I felt like we didn't okay, so we're gonna get into we're gonna get into the book. So before I say what I'm gonna say, if you have not read Onyx Storm, at home listening or watching on YouTube, if you have not read Onyx Storm or do not want to hear spoilers, it's a good time to log off and come back because we're gonna be getting into it. Um, so we'll see you later. So I was gonna say, I needed more resolution at the end. I felt like we didn't really move and I love the book. So I'm just kind of voicing why I gave it 4 stars and not 5. Um, I don't really feel like we moved far. A 750-page book, we didn't
Mm.
really get much as far as, like, resolution,
Yeah.
right? We still have Xaden is still who he is. Um, they have not found the cure, and, I mean, we obviously we know that Adarna found her people, her dragon kind, so we got that. Um, but other than that, like, I feel like we haven't moved, so I feel like she's gonna have a lot of ground to cover in the next 2 books because
Yeah.
we didn't really move. So for that, I give it 4 stars for that and another reason, but that was the first one I felt like we didn't really, um, we're still here. The other thing too was it was confusing. The first, like, 20% of the book, I didn't know what was going on, 'cause I will say, did you do rereads
I
before
did.
you read them?
Yes.
So I was fresh. I was like, "I'm good to go." But it did not start off like where it left off. I was really confused in the beginning, and I didn't know what was happening. Fine. I was like, "You know what? We'll get there, we'll get there." But we didn't really ever really get there. I felt like it never really took off. So, whereas, like, Iron Flame, for example, by the way, I almost DNF'd Iron Flame
Oh
because
my
I know. The first half of Iron Flame was torture for me. I was like, "What is this? What people love this book. Why am I struggling so much with it?"
Yeah.
I did. I almost DNF'd it, but I was like, "You know what? I love Fourth Wing and people love this book, so I'm gonna stick it out." And I did. And the second part of Fourth Iron Flame was fantastic. Fantastic. Um, so I kind of thought that was what was gonna happen. I was like, "Okay, it's gonna be a little slow for a little while and then it'll pick up." But we picked up here and there, but I never really felt like it really I don't know, I just wanted more, I just wanted more.
Mhm.
And then the last 10% of the book, the last 10% of the book, when she changed POVs, and that was rough for me. I was like,
Yes.
"What are we doing, Rebecca? What are we doing? Like, you're killing me right now." This is the last 10% of the book. I am dying to know what's gonna happen. Give me Xaden, give me Violet.
Told my husband I needed to create, like, one of those, like, murder mystery boards where it's, like, timeline for every character and who was
Yes,
where, because, like, those
yes,
last 100 pages were so hard for me to keep track of. I just accepted
yes,
the fact that I wasn't gonna remember everything in those.
yes. Right. I think yes, it was wild. It was very confusing. I don't know what I was reading. I don't know where I was at. I was just like, "What is this?" It just honestly, it felt like a shit show the last, like, 10% of the book. I was like, "I don't
Yes.
know." the dumpster fire. What are we doing? Like, and I love Rebecca Yarros. I do. I love her, and I love her writing. I love these books. I still give it 4 stars.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't love it, because I do. I'm just saying I legit felt like it was a shit show. I was like, what is this mess? So anyway, got through it. And then, we have the ending of the book where it was just like, where's the rest? So anyway, we'll get into it.
Doing the reread was really helpful. I didn't have the same issues of like remembering characters. However, if I didn't read it for an entire year, I would have been so lost.
And that was the other thing. At the end of the book, I Googled shit. I was like, I don't know what I just read, so I have to Google stuff now. Like, I've never had to do that. So I was confused. So for me, that's why I gave it 4 stars. But anyway, moving on. How did you think Violet and Xaden, did you think that Violet and Xaden grew in this book? How did they grow? Do you think they grew? How do you think that their relationship evolved? What did you think of their relationship specifically in this book?
There was no wavering for him. However, in Iron Flame, Violet, she's always like, "Oh, I can't trust you. You're hiding things from me. Like this isn't gonna work." But I feel like in Onyx Storm, she really committed to her relationship, and she like Xaden was her person, and there was no wavering on that for her. And I really loved seeing that part of her because I felt like
Yes.
Xaden deserved more from her, and she was
Yes.
finally giving it to him.
I agree. I feel like they definitely grew. Violet came into the story much more confident. I felt like, okay, girl, you're kind of growing into yourself, becoming a woman. Like, I just felt like, good for you. She was a lot more insecure in Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So it was good to see her more confident here.
Yeah.
So I think she definitely grew a lot as a character. And also in her relationship with Xaden. They fought. It was very toxic in Iron Flame. And I think that was also one of the reasons why I almost DNF'd Iron Flame, because I was like, I can't take this. Like, they are always fighting and I can't take it. But then obviously the second half, the book changed a little bit and it was a lot better. But I agree. I think she grew a lot on her own. Who were your favorite side characters?
Okay, so I have a few. I loved getting to see more of Garrick. He like cracked me up. His and Xaden's relationship and their little bromance, like I kick my feet giggling when those two are together. I love them. But
Yeah.
I also love the like side characters together. I love Mira and Drake, and like they're whenever they're
Yes.
together, like they're like love hate
Yeah.
relationship.
There's like some tension going on there.
Yes, I love it, and they're
Yes.
so much fun for me. Of course, I love Riddick, but also I think one of everybody's favorites is Broccoli. I
Yes.
I think about broccoli every
Broccoli.
day. I told my husband we're gonna get a cat and we're gonna name him Broccoli, and
Broccoli.
I'm sold.
Sold. That's it.
Yes.
Broccoli. That is broccoli it is. I get
Yes.
it. I know we need to, it would be really cute if Broccoli started riding a dragon. Like, if Broccoli
Oh
got her
my
own dragon.
gosh. Yes.
Like, she needs a little baby dragon.
So cute.
So cute. So I agree. I love all those characters. Riddick for me is like the shit. He reminds me of a character. I was telling my husband. I don't know if you have ever watched on Netflix. I think it's Netflix. Queen of the South.
Mm-mm.
Have you ever seen that? Okay, it's like a drug cartel. They're like drug cartel, like kind of like that. Anyway, there's a character in the Queen of the South. His name is King George. His name is King George. He reminds me of Riddick. Like, he's just a ham, and he's just funny, and he just has these side comments, like in these situations where you're like, dude, like, you're about to die, and you're like making jokes. Like, he's just like, hey. So I loved him. I do love the sort of the banter between Garrick and Xaden. Like, they're so great. I think about I don't know, like the chocolate cake scene. I don't know. It was just they're just all so funny. Like,
They are.
I don't know. I love them all. Did you guys see the meme of Adarna and like the two? So it's from the movie Rush Hour, but it's the two Asian guys and the little Asian girl in the back seat, and they're driving. Have you seen that meme?
Mm-mm. I haven't seen it. You'll have
Oh
to
god,
send it
it's
to
the fu
me.
I'll have to find it and send it to you. It's so fun. It's from the movie Rush Hour from, like, back in the day, but,
Yeah.
um, they're in, like, China or something, and, um, the little girl's in the back seat. They're picking her they're in the scene of the movie, they're picking the little girl up from school, the little Chinese girl. They're picking
Yeah.
her I think she's Chinese. They're picking her up from school, the 2, like, hitmen. They're like hitmen or something, and they're like but it's funny. They're driving in the car, and she's in the back seat, and freaking Mariah Carey comes on. The song, "Where You Walk By Every Night." Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Fantasy, Fantasy, that one. Don't mind my singing, don't mind my singing. Um, and she's in the back seat singing that song, and they're, like, looking at each other like, "Oh my god, will you shut up?" Anyway, that's the meme. The meme is, like, Tarn is it Scale, whatever, like, they're, like, in the front seat, they're, like, driving, but it's the 2 Asian guys, and then in the back seat, you have Adarna just, like, singing it like, they're trying to save the little girl from the hitmen
That's
and
perfect.
she's in the back seat, like, singing Mariah Carey, like, that's Adarna, like, it's the
This.
funniest it's the funniest freaking meme. She was a hot mess, she was sassy, she was hungry. They'd be, like, flying, and then she'd be like, "A flock of sheep," like, she would just be like, "I'm gonna go find a sheep," and they'd be like, "Please don't," like, Tana would be like, "Please, just don't." She was so cute. The Empyrean series will encompass 5 books. Are you excited to get 2 more, or are you ready for it to be over? Like, are
I
you wishing 4 was the end, or are you ready for 5?
Yeah. So I think 5 is gonna be perfect. I think like you stated at the beginning, like, there's so much ground to cover from here
Mm,
to wherever we're going to end up, and I feel like 2 books is a decent timeline. I feel like if it were any shorter, like, we'd be trying to, like, cram so many things in there. So I'm very excited to see how the next couple years go with, like, the next 2 books.
mm,
I maybe part of me might wish there were more than 5, but I think I'll be happy with what I
mhm.
get.
You're wearing a Terracin
Oh,
sweatshirt,
I am,
and
yes.
we know that you're repping a little SJM right now, a little
Yes.
Throne of Glass,
Big lovers
and that was
of
8
Throne of
books with
Glass.
Assassin's Blade.
Yeah,
Yes, that
and
was
that
8
was
books,
I felt
so and that felt
loved
right.
it. It did, yes.
I mean, honestly, we could have done 9 books. She
I
could
no, yeah, there is a big market for this.
There is a big market. It is wanted. She could totally do a ninth book and a 10th
Yes.
probably because there's so much to cover. There's so many people. It felt like incomplete. I know we just got sidetracked and off
Mhm, we
topic,
did.
but I just had to say
My fault,
because I was
sorry.
looking at your Terracin sweatshirt and I was just like, we need more. Speaking of
Yes.
5 books, we need 10. We need 10 for TOG, SJM, please. Give us 2 more. At the very least, give us 1 more. I know you're
Mhm.
done, but let's just try it. Give us a bonus book. Bonus book. Bonus book. Rebecca Yarros ends the novel on a cliffhanger. What did you think of that ending?
I think I I think the cliffhanger itself was really good. I didn't love it just because, like, I wanted more just for, like, selfish reasons, but I think as an author, she did a great job with that cliffhanger because it opens up so much space for theories and imagining things, which is what us as readers really like to do. We like to see if we can fill in the blanks. We like to create a story for ourselves where,
Right.
like, it's not exactly what's going to happen, but it gives us something really interesting to do to be a part of the world while we're waiting for something else. And I think
Right.
that Rebecca is really good at leaving us hanging like this just to
Mhm.
pull it all together in the next book. And so I'm really looking forward to how it all pulls together because I have so many theories on all of these cliffhangers here at the end. But I think that she does a really good job of bringing it all together. And that's what I'm excited to see, like what she does with all of that.
Yeah. Right. It's like crack. Like it's like you need not that I would know, but I'm just saying.
I mean, no judgment.
I'm not a drug addict, guys. I'm not just saying. I'm just saying. But I hear stories. But it's like that. It's like it's addictive. Like you just gotta know. You gotta know. Um, so yeah, I feel the same way. I struggled. I struggled and I didn't know. I was confused. I was mad. I was mad. I was mad at Xaden for that little note he left her. I forgot what he
Oh,
said. Something
yeah.
like,
It's yours
it's
now, don't look
yours.
for me.
Don't look for me.
Yeah.
Don't look for me. It's yours.
The hell is
What do
that,
you mean don't
Xaden?
look for you? What is that? What? Do you know who you're talking to? Of course she's gonna look for you, number one.
Mhm.
Like she's got a ring on her finger, so she's clearly married. Of course she's gonna look for her husband. So what do you mean don't look for me? It's I was so mad. I was like, I felt like in the moment that I finished the book, betrayed. I felt betrayed. That's how I felt. I felt like he betrayed her. And I had to like really think like I needed like 2 days to process. I was like,
Yeah.
but you know what? At the end of the day, I don't think Xaden is going I think at the end of the day, the storyline is that they are in love.
Yeah.
I don't think that Rebecca Yarros is going to change that theme. I hope not.
Mhm.
Um, and so if that remains, then he didn't betray her. He didn't. He couldn't have betrayed her if they're supposed to be together, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we don't know what happened in those 12 hours, and we can get into some theories, but um that is just a note that we're reading, and maybe that's the note that he's giving her as because she woke up and doesn't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
So I think that was just his way in that I think that was his way of letting her know, "Don't look for me. It's yours," meaning obviously Terrandor. Um, but without knowing the history, without knowing what actually happened in those 12 hours, as readers, we're like, "He
Mhm.
betrayed her." But I don't think he actually betrayed her. I think she must have known she was getting married, right? I mean, there's
Absolutely.
like, she knew she got married.
Yes.
And I also think so at the end of the book, and we can get into I'm curious to know what you think, but I will say that for me, towards the end of the book where he sort of turns to ice, he just, like, loses his mind, there's, like, shadows, he just basically, like, kinda turns, right?
Yeah.
Um, and he tells I don't is it Scale or Skagel?
I call her Scale.
Scale. Scale? What's
Yeah.
Scale? I don't really know, but we're gonna go with that. He's talking to her, he's having a conversation with her, and he says, um, "I'm gonna ask her," and then Scale's like, "Tarn not gonna go for that, like, support
Mhm.
that or whatever." He's like, "There's no other way. There's no other way. Like, this is the only way."
Yeah.
Um, and so I didn't know what that was at first, but then when I finished the book, I was like, I immediately thought, okay, he told Scale, I'm gonna ask her the question or whatever. So when I finished the book, I thought he was saying that he was planning on proposing to her, so he was gonna propose to her so that she would take the kingdom.
Mhm.
And so I thought, but she doesn't know that. She doesn't know why she's getting married. She doesn't realize that he's gonna leave her the kingdom. And so I was mad. I was like, "He just betrayed her. He tricked her into marrying him. What the hell?" But then I thought about it more and I was like, "But he wouldn't do that. He loves her. There's no way that she would have married him not knowing." So I
Yeah.
don't think the question to her when he was having that conversation with Scale, I don't think the question was, "I'm gonna ask her to marry me." I think the question was, "I'm gonna ask her if she will take over Tyrandor." And the only way to do that is to get married
Mhm.
because there is no other way.
Yeah.
He says he says to Scale, "There is no other way now. This is it. There is no other way."
Xaden, he gets what he wants, but I don't think he would have necessarily forced that upon Bodhi, um,
Right.
just because of, like, the respect and the relationship that he has with him. And so I think making sure Violet was in his position to take Tyrandor, I think that was his way of making sure it stayed in the right hands.
I agree with what you said, Serena. I don't think that Xaden would force Bodhi. take over Tyrannor because he was adamant the whole book. He said, I don't want your damn kingdom.
Yeah.
At the end of the book, he was like, I don't want your kingdom. I don't want the kingdom. It's not mine. He doesn't want it. We know that, right? But then he says to Scale, there is no other way. So there's that. But also, I don't know that Violet would have agreed. I feel like the only way, I don't know. Part of me feels like the only way that Violet would have agreed to take over Tyrannor is if there really, really, truly was no other way. Because I think she would have been like, no, I'm not, she doesn't want it. She'd be like, no, I'm not taking it. So what I think that she knew. So obviously when she woke up, we know that Emotion wiped her memories, right? And she also said, what did you do? And Emotion told her, what you asked me to.
Yeah.
So clearly she asked Emotion to wipe her memories because we know Dane is a mind reader. Like he can read memories. So she needs her memories to be clear. She needs her memories wiped. So we understand that. But again, you got to think about that because at first you're like, what the hell just happened? But I don't think that, I feel like there's no way Violet would agree to take the kingdom if there really was no other way. Like she had to really have been in a corner. And the only way that she would agree to that really is if something happened to Bodhi. And where are the missing eggs? The dragon eggs. Like where are they?
There was like 12 missing dragon eggs.
I forget how many there
or
were.
Whatever. I don't know.
6 or something like that. But I
don't know like where that was.
Okay, so this is what I think. I don't know. Again, these are just some things that I was thinking about. So we know that the Queen of Umbriel had asked for the eggs in order to send her army, right? And now, so they said, I think it was Brennan was like, we're missing. I think there were 5 missing riders at the end of the book, but they found Violet. So now there are 4 missing riders at the end of the book. I think that those 4 missing riders are Bodhi, Garrick, Xaden, and who am I missing? Eric. He's missing also. So I think the 4 missing, there were 5, but now they know where Violet is. And because Brennan said, we have 4 missing riders and 5 missing riders and we're missing eggs, but now we just found Violet. So I think now they have 4 missing riders, if I'm remembering correctly. And I think that those missing riders are Xaden, Eric, because Eric is nowhere to be found at the end of the book, Garrick, and Bodhi. And now they have missing eggs. But we also know that Garrick is his signet is a wind, like he can like jump from place to place.
Oh
like
yeah, he's a walker. Yeah.
He's like a wind wheel. He's a walker, right? So he can go from like one place to the other really fast. And he's missing, and the eggs are missing. So I'm wondering if he's taken the eggs to the Queen of Umbriel. And that's why he and the eggs are missing, because maybe he's trying to get that army, secure that army. But Garrick alone isn't he a cadet still? Or is he not?
No, he's not a cadet, right?
I don't think he has rank. I don't know how much rank he has, how much rank he can pull. Can he like make an agreement with the Queen of Umbriel without
I don't
a
think
royal
so.
there?
No, like he would need
I don't
Eric.
think so. He would need Eric. That's what I think.
Interesting.
He would need Eric. He needs a royal. He needs somebody with rank. He can't make that agreement on his own. So I think that maybe Garrick and Eric, whatever his name is, are at Umbriel trying to secure an army. He is a royal.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where the missing eggs went. I don't know. And then obviously we know Xaden is gone. We don't know where. Perhaps Bodhi's with him. I don't know. And because remember also, Bodhi is balance.
Oh,
he's the balance.
Yes.
He's the balance.
Wait, what's Bodhi's signet?
His signet is, wait, let's look it up.
I have to look things up now.
I know. But I think I read something that he balances power. Doesn't he balance like, so maybe he's balancing Xaden. I know at the beginning of the book, she has this whole like list.
Yeah, I just looked and his wasn't in there. Okay, so he counters other people's signets. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yes, right. He counters other people's signets, their magic. So he says, it says here, meaning he can negate or disrupt the effects of another person's powers.
Yes.
So that allows him to balance things because
Yeah.
he can counter.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he is with Xaden, essentially
Countering
acting
his
as balance,
venom
countering. Yeah.
balance. Yeah.
But yes. Now, whether or not Bodhi has turned venom is another theory. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that
Maybe
puts us in
he's
2
saying
different
like one of
paths.
their right. We don't know, but maybe he is, but he's not fully turned, and maybe he's balancing things. I don't
Yeah.
really know. We don't
Well,
know, but I don't know. These are
yeah.
just some theories. I was gonna say one more thing. All we keep hearing is that there is no cure.
Yeah.
But the theory I read this morning was, so we know that venom are created when humans channel from the ground and they take too
Yeah.
much power. So the theory is that, and the theory was backed up. You'd have to look for. I have to find it and send it to you. But there was a bunch of there were like scenes from the book and paragraphs backing this up, and they were fair. I was like,
Ooh.
okay. And it was kind of when, is it Theophany,
Yeah.
whatever her name
Theophany.
is, was talking to and the sage when they were talking to Violet. The sort of the theory kind of lies in those conversations.
Okay.
And the theory is that the cure lies in channeling from the sky. So venom are created by channeling from the earth, and they are cured by channeling from the sky. So in other words, Violet.
Yeah.
And the theory was back. You'll have to look for it. But the theory was backed up with conversations between Violet and Theophany. I don't know whatever her name is. They were just the conversations, the things that she said to Violet kind of led this theory to be created. That
Interesting.
Violet holds a power that she's not really aware of yet. And it's channeling from the sky. Because we know she wields lightning.
Yeah.
And so that's the sort of the counter.
That actually makes a
at
lot of
some point
sense
maybe
because in
yeah.
either Onyx or in Fourth Wing or Iron Flame, they talk about her signet being like just like pure power, but it takes the form of lightning because that's what she's most comfortable manifesting it as. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
Right. It does. When I read it, I was like, with some theories you're like, eh.
Yeah.
But that theory, I was like, oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
I
there's
could
some
see
meat
that.
behind that.
Like, there's something, yeah. So I was like, I can get with that. So maybe if there's a cure, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is the last question. Did you
Okay.
like hearing from the other POVs at the end of the book, or would you have preferred they stayed with Xaden and Violet?
I would have preferred just sticking with Xaden and Violet.
Yeah.
I felt like switching POVs was just a little too much. I mean, it was interesting to have an insight into other people's minds. Like I enjoyed parts of Imogen's POV. But other than that, I was just like kind of sort of racing to get to the end of the book just because I wanted like a Xaden or a Violet.
Yes.
And so maybe that's why I need to go back and reread it.
Yes.
But I think it was a little too much, but it also gave good insight as to like where people were and when, because they were all split up over that time.
They were all split up. Yeah.
But I didn't love it.
I didn't either. I was like, I'm confused. But I guess it gave an answer. I guess maybe it was necessary because, I mean, I don't know if it was necessary, but we know with Rhiannon's point of view, Quinn died.
Yeah.
And obviously, we had, who was the other one? Imogen's point of view,
Imogen,
right?
yeah.
So I guess it answered some things, but I feel like she could have answered those anyway. I don't know that we needed their point of view. But I don't know. It was still good, but it was like, I was kind of like rushing to finish it because I was like, I don't. Why do I need this right now? I don't need this right now.
Not what I want.
So, not what I want exactly. So anyway, but other than that, I love the book.
Yeah,
and
same.
I do agree with you. 4 stars.
Yeah.
Great book. I am gonna do a reread soon.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like I need to read it again and process what I'm reading and take time and
Mhm.
not sort of rush through it like the first time.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know, it's kind of I was reading fast as I wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah.
I need to read it more slowly and really process what the characters are saying and what they're doing
Mhm.
and committing that stuff to memory. Because I don't
Same.
think I really committed things to memory because I also didn't understand what was happening. So I think I need to reread it and take some time.
Yeah. I'd probably do the same. Keep like a little notebook and like jot in it as I go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's gonna come. I mean, I'll probably read it again before the book comes out, especially if it's 2 years. But
Absolutely.
at least we'll have some like notes and stuff like that. But anyway, Cyrena, thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here today. Such a pleasure. I'm so happy we were able to finally meet.
I had fun. Same.
You can find Cyrena on Instagram at what.im.reading. Thank you guys so much for being here. Take care.